Joel Embiid is playing like the best player in the world over this past stretch of games. He's completely put the entire Philadelphia 76ers team on his back and led them to being one of the more promising teams in the Eastern Conference. They currently sit at the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference and are only 2.5 games out of first place. This is especially attributed to Embiid, especially since this team truly lacks a second option as of now, with Ben Simmons still holding out and refusing to play in the Sixers games. This recent dominant stretch for Embiid that also has shown the Sixers team success has really firmly put him in the conversation for the league's MVP this season. Before we get into the video, I just want to say if you are new, please subscribe to the channel for more Sixers and Eagles videos, and drop a like on this video to help push it out to other people. And without further ado, let's get into the video. One more quick disclaimer before we get into the rest of the video. The rest of this video was recorded before Joel Embiid's 42-point, 14-rebound, and 4-assist performance versus the New Orleans Pelicans in a win, by the way. This performance making him the only Sixers player since Wilt Chamberlain in 1966 to average over 35 points and 10 rebounds over a 4-game span. Plus, it also continued his streak of 6 straight current 30-point games. And he is now one of the only players in NBA history to, over a 4-game span, average over 40 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. So yeah, this only strengthens his case even further. So without further ado, let's get into the rest of the video. We already knew Joel Embiid was one of the best basketball players in the world heading into this season. He had finished second in MVP voting last year, averaging 28 and 10 while leading the Sixers to the first seed in the Eastern Conference. Of course, back then he did have Ben Simmons on his team, which helped the team's success, but Embiid was definitely the driving force of that team. And Ben Simmons was slowly regressing throughout that year, which was especially shown in the playoffs. So Embiid was truly one of the best players in the league last season, and heading into this season, people expected more of the same. They expected him to step up even more and help lead the 76ers to still one of the top playoff spots in the East, even without their second best player playing. Joel Embiid has definitely answered those calls in this season. As you could say that right now, he is playing the best basketball of his entire career in this recent season. Right now, he's averaging 28.7 points per game, 10.7 rebounds per game, and 4.3 assists per game. Those 4.3 assists are a career high, showing Embiid stepping up into more of a playmaking role with the absence of Ben Simmons. He's also been getting it done on the defensive end this season, as he's been one of the best defensive centers in all of the NBA, and just one of the best defenders in the NBA as well. These are shown in the numbers when Embiid is on and off the court, as when he is off the court, the Sixers' defensive rating drops tremendously, while when he is on it, they have one of the best defensive ratings in the entire league. The Sixers' offensive rating also drops dramatically when he is off the floor, and is one of the best in the league again when he is on it, showing his true impact to the Sixers team and their success this season on the court. The Sixers also have a 24-11 record when Embiid is playing. That record would be good for the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, as opposed to a 3-7 record when he is off the floor. This again shows Embiid's true value to his team, as he is basically carrying the Sixers to being a good team, and without him, they would most likely be one of the worst teams in the NBA and a struggling lottery team. This again shows how Embiid is very valuable to his team and one of the leading MVP candidates this season, as it shows his true value to his team and to the organization, as without him, they would not be a very good team. Stat that truly shows Embiid's dominance is his free throw shooting. He easily leads the league in free throw attempts per game at 10.6 per game, and made free throws per game at 8.7. Not only does he get to the line more than anybody else in the league, but he also knocks them down at an elite rate, especially for a big man. This stat truly shows Embiid's dominance, as it displays how no one can guard him one-on-one, especially without fouling. This past stretch of games for Embiid has been truly remarkable as well, and it's definitely been the best stretch of his entire career. Over these past 14 games for Embiid, he has scored 30 points in 13 of the 14 games. He had an 8-game streak of games where he was over 30 points, which ties the most for Sixers franchise history of games over 30 points, with Allen Iverson and Wilt Chamberlain, which is elite company to be in. And he's currently and still continuing a streak of 12 games of scoring over 30 points on the road, which is third most since the NBA-ABA merger, only behind George Gervin at 13 and James Harden at 18. If Embiid continues this current dominant stretch, he could potentially even pass some of these records. Embiid's best performance of the season came in a win over the Orlando Magic, where he scored 50 points and 12 rebounds, all doing this in 27 minutes of action. That's the second least amount of minutes it has taken in a 50-point game of all time, only behind Klay Thompson, who scored 52 in 26 minutes and change. And meanwhile, Klay Thompson, known as one of the best three-point shooters of all time, did this while hitting 14 three-pointers. Meanwhile, Embiid did it while hitting 1 three-pointer. He did it very efficiently. He was super dominant this entire game. He got to the free throw line many times, and he did not miss many shots from the field, and he was quick and decisive on his moves. When the Orlando Magic defenders played him one-on-one, there was no stopping him. That's how it's been in every single other game in this past stretch, and that's how it's pretty much been for the past 2 seasons, and especially this season, given that the paint has opened up more without Ben Simmons. Embiid's dominance is truly shown through the fact that opposing teams every night are game planning. We have to stop this guy, Joel Embiid, the center in the paint. First of all, Embiid requires someone to get him the ball to then do his work because he's the center. But on top of that, every time he touches the ball, the entire defense is keyed in on Joel. What is he going to do? They're all looking at him. He oftentimes gets doubled off the ball even before he touches it. He gets doubled on the ball basically every single time he touches it, because opposing teams know that if they don't, he's going to score, he's going to get fouled, or even when they do double, Embiid has improved his playmaking skills enough to be able to kick it out for an open 3. There is simply no way to stop Joel Embiid one-on-one, and even when you double him, it's gotten so much harder to stop him than in years past, and his improvement has truly been shown through that. But all this shows you just how dominant, just how good Joel Embiid has been this season. And I don't think you can make an argument that over these past 15 or so games, who's been the best player in basketball? It's easily been Joel Embiid, and you can't make an argument, and that has him firmly in the MVP discussion. Let me know your guys' thoughts on Joel Embiid and the Sixers' play recently, and do you think Joel Embiid could win MVP this season? And subscribe to the channel for more Philly sports content, Sixers content, Eagles content, and like the video if you did enjoy. And that's pretty much all I got for this video, so thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.